What up, y'all? It's your boy Jimmy Dukes here for another episode on the Jimmy Dukes Gaming Podcast, and today we are joined by a local guy that I met through the internet. Believe that, guys, through the fucking internet. But Chef Clay, man, welcome to the show, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man. I appreciate you inviting me to be on here.
Of course, man. Thank you, man. And it's a funny story that how we met.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was on Instagram looking for guests, and my brother from another mother, Zach, shout out to Zach. He was hey, he tagged, he tagged you on there.
Yeah.
And you fucking hit me up.
Of course, yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Of course, man. Well, first of all, Zach's a cool guy, man. So like once he did that, I was like, well, he's not just gonna put my name out there around for nothing. Maybe it was a dinner, maybe it was something. You know? So I was like, yeah, let me talk to this guy. And the fact that you were doing a podcast, I was barely doing podcasts.
Right, that's so crazy.
Like, bing, like it was a cold camaraderie for sure.
Yeah.
I watched a couple of years at that moment too.
That was dope, man. So I appreciate you coming over here, and obviously we're here at my spot here at the house, guys. You guys know that a lot of the episodes are virtual, and I was out in Atlanta and we did a couple, but we're here back in El Paso, and Clay made the time to come out here. So like I said, I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
So you were a personal chef.
Yes, sir. That's my title these days for sure.
That's dope, man.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the cool thing, because when Zach said, hey, check out this guy, because I get people all the time. You know how that is. Check out this guy, right?
True.
You know.
Oh, yeah. Everybody tells me consideration.
I'll go look, right? They might not fit.
Right.
But when you were like doing your thing, I was like, oh shit, that's dope. And I was in the position that I was already trying to broaden my audience.
Right.
So it was cool, and you were already kind of doing that thing, and then
to find our niche,
that was cool, man.
Yeah, it was a good timing of the whole thing too, man. Because I think I saw like how you had like your passion and how you had like your audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, what's our passion and what's gonna be our audience? And that's what I definitely got from you from the bat, because like we had talked about like, oh, you can be on ours, I'll be on yours, and then we kind of broke for a little while.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I was investigating your podcast and trying to, because like, it's hard, man. The whole podcast game is hard, dude. It's not easy.
Well, a lot of the time too is because, and I'm sure you guys get it all the time. Sure. Let me be on your podcast. Let me be on your podcast.
Yeah.
And like respectfully be like, hey man, I appreciate it, but it has to make sense.
Right.
It has to make sense.
And like
the content,
it's gotta fit. Too,
because like what I like to do on my podcast is I like to educate people,
right?
And then bring people into light of people's journeys and how people go through different things, and that's what we're gonna talk about, dude.
Dope,
so how long have you been cooking for, man?
Well, as far as cooking, like my mom taught me how to cook like from an early age. Like I can remember being like 8, cooking like scrambled eggs or my own ramen or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like it was just myself. Like I had joy in doing that. So it wasn't until later, like when I graduated high school, my family was like, hey, you should go to culinary school. And of course, when you're 18, you're like, okay, you gonna pay for it, or I don't know, how's it work? So like eventually, like I lived with my uncle. That was the blessing in disguise. I had no idea what I was doing living with him, but I went to culinary school. I learned some skills that got me really, really perked in that I was like a chef, right? But the whole industry is really tough, man. And so that was 2004. I worked maybe like good 10 years, and then I fell into Costco. So what's funny is like how long I've been cooking, it's like there's a gap.
Yeah.
And but I was out of culinary school, did the most chef things I could do, and then once I have a family, I was trying to make more money, and Costco was the ticket.
Yeah.
The benefits and everything.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But in the midst of it, I was cooking for my family and learning, researching and stuff like that. So cooking came full circle when I actually in 2020 started the business as personal chef.
Yeah. That's cool. Like when I came across you and I was on your Instagram and I was watching you, preparing stuff.
Right.
And then you talk about a little bit on your guys' show. Shout out to he's got a podcast too.
There you go. Yeah,
he's half of Grind Too Hard.
Yeah, and the other one's King Vic. Shout out King Vic, for sure.
Yeah, so when you guys talk about your individual businesses and then you guys do that together, I thought that was it's pretty dope.
Thanks, man.
You guys do that.
Yeah, we didn't really realize that was the angle, but it's good to like just sit down and jam with him. We're not really the best friends, or we just came together in business and started this podcast, and it's really working out, man. It's
right?
Really cool.
Is it that I think that's how a lot of relationships, and when it comes to content creation or business, whatever. I have a homie, shout out to Tetsu's Temple. What up, Miko? I met him online playing video games through another person, and now we're like really good friends. We started a whole podcast series together. We call it Not Just Gamer Dads, and we talk about being gamer dads and just different things that away from just our own independent content. So we aren't best friends, but that's something we did together.
Exactly.
Because of it's crazy how people gravitate to each other
in that way, and like, and then honestly, like he was my barber. That's why it started. You know what I mean, we're jamming, and I'm like, dude, we should put this on a podcast. The things we talk about are not just like how's your day and the weather's great or whatever. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm gonna ask him, and if he's down, like we should do this. And I asked him, and he was like, yeah, I'm down, but I could tell it was like I'm barely like kind of building my business. And I have money going here and here, so like I don't know. And I was like, all right,
yeah.
So like I kind of took that like, well, what if you can just walk on like we can just be on a podcast. You don't worry about money.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, now it's like right there teetering. So like once he made the decision and we got on it, man, it was really
that's
like
cool.
a landslide after that. Yeah.
It's funny how people just like gravitate to each other, and then like there's like a common goal, and you can feed off each other because
big time, dude.
Not just when it comes to like business, but like you get to know each other, and if you want an honest opinion from somebody that you're getting to know. You're not gonna bullshit me if and vice versa.
Yeah, I think that's the type of person that Vic is too. He'll tell you straight out, like even if you didn't really know him that well, like he'll tell you straight out how he feels and what he thinks. You know what I mean? So it's good to have that person in your corner because he's really honest with me when we have opinions about the podcast or even in life. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm going through this, and he's like, boom.
Yeah.
Like I told him the other day I was going through this as far as the business. Like I have apprentice problems. He's like, hire another chef.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Who's gonna tell you that? They're gonna be like, hey, you know what? Maybe stick in there. But he was like, hire another chef.
Yeah.
Okay, perspective change. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But hearing it, because he I don't know him, but he has his best interest looking out for you. He wouldn't just say that. Because a lot of people will tell you, well, do this, do that. Well, it's easy if you're not fucking in my situation.
Right, exactly.
or know me.
Yeah, and he's invested in that. And that's the thing, like I said, we're not the best of friends, but we've been business partners since that day we started the podcast. So it's like, whatever you're doing is an investment in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're thinking that way as always.
Yeah. Well, when you start associating yourself with a certain type of people, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be talking or hanging out with her, or how you were saying, I should be doing something.
Right.
You wouldn't be spending your time with him if it didn't make sense.
Exactly.
When you guys you guys doing something together?
Right. And that's what I'm saying. The frequency of when we are together. You know what I'm saying? It's like business. It's like we're not trying to one up each other. It's like, damn, like you did that. Like, man, I can't wait to do this because like I'm inspired by what you did. You know what I mean? Like let me figure this out. Like I'm not fucking around no more. I'm gonna put this pen to paper and make sure it happens. And like he did with that event, I'll be straight up with you. It's a drip event. It was Grind Too Hard associated, but the thing is like he just took his time and he made it happen.
That's
you know what I mean?
dope.
Whereas I had, I was there giving out food for Keeping It P.C, which is my business, the personal chef business. But he put it together, and it's cool to see something that we did together, but like he took over.
Yeah.
And it just happened, and then at the end, I'm like,
yeah,
man, we're a force. Like we're a force, like together. You know what I mean? Like it's like maybe he did, but like we're still attached, and then we came together at the end, and we're like, what's next? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like maybe we're gonna do a month-to-month thing. Like I don't know, like but together, like I saw this quote. It was actually on a boba tea. It said, by yourself you'll go fast, but together you'll go far.
Nice.
Yeah, right?
Isn't it so simple?
Yeah, it's so
that makes
simple.
fucking sense.
I like that. And I kept reading my kids. What was your say? What is your say?
Yeah.
Mine's the best. We do.
Right. let me try to get some inspiration out of this shit.
For real.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
So you were talking about the you were working, on and off as a chef, cooking, and then when did you like start doing the personal chef thing? When was that like you know what? I can start doing this, and I feel confident myself to put myself out there like that. Because
not to make it a long story, but like I'll tell you the very beginnings of like me going out there and putting myself out there. Like my family would ask me, like my Aunt Annette was like, hey, you know what? We're having a backyard party. We're gonna invite the family. What can you do? I was like, oh, let me do some fajitas, right? Make some rice and stuff like that. And you think you've done it in your house, you're a badass. You can do it for yourself and 10 people, no problem. This was for like 40, so I'm like, I was just not ready for that, dude. And to serve food like that as a chef, you're just like, dude, I'm not a caterer. I'm never gonna do that again, period. And especially for family, like I feel like I still owe them in a way, you know what I mean? Like, because the rice was not very good, and then it took me forever to get each plate out. You know what I mean? It was really bad, but I mean, it did taste good. You know what I mean? I'll tell you that for sure. I'm still, like I'm a heart. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know what I mean? I learned from that, and I held it in my pocket for a long time, and I was not gonna put myself out there again until I was ready.
Yeah.
So I built up the confidence to do it. Unfortunately, me and my wife at the time, we were splitting. You know what I mean? And it kind of had to do with me starting a business, but it really didn't. You know what I mean? But I'll let you know that at that crux is when I started my business, and I didn't look back.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm gonna start this business. And I'm not looking back. I remember being at Costco, and I would be doing dishes next to. I always tell the story too, and it's the God honest truth. And his name was Daniel. We were doing dishes together, and I'm like, yo, man, I want to come to your house. I'm gonna bring my own equipment and tools. I'm gonna cook you a gourmet meal in your home with, you can wear your slippers. And he's like, what are you talking about, bro? Keep doing dishes and shut up. And I'm like, I'm serious, bro. I'm serious. And then, like, day after day, like, I'll be telling people, and they're like, he's gonna be a chef. Like, he won't be here. You know what I mean? Like, I can hear like the echoes, and I'm like, dude, one day somebody's, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and that one Daniel, I don't know. I think really what happened was we had a camaraderie. He has a brand called Knox Did It, and shout out, Daniel, because this man actually keeps doing it and keeps putting it out there and trying to make a brand, and he's doing it. So I kept buying his stuff. You know what I mean? And I wasn't thinking like, oh, he's gonna do me the favor if I do him the favor. I was just like supporting him.
Supporting
you know
a
what I mean?
homie,
Like, yeah, an entrepreneur at that. So eventually he was like, yo, yeah, come over to my house, man. I got this thing going on and cook for my lady. What are you going to cook? I was like, I'm going to make a beef Wellington. What's that? And then he Googled it. He's like, yeah, okay, come through, man. Let me make it happen. This man is like the day one for me because like basically like those pictures from that dinner, my confidence just jumped at that point. You know what I mean? I knew I could do it. I was inside somebody's house. I bought enough equipment. I produced what I wanted to produce. The pictures are starting to stream. You know what I mean? Like I'm not as much as like normal, but like boom, the pictures are out there. People are asking questions about what I want to do. And I'm like, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? And like, it took a lot of sacrifice at that point. It was just like, yeah, I have a full-time job, but I'm going to do this at night. And I'm going to do this on the weekend. And I'm going to make something happen.
Yeah.
Man, it was rough, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And we were kind of just, bullshitting a little bit before we started is like you taking that leap, taking that like, oh shit. Like, cause like, oh, I'm going from being okay and X amount of money, and then like I'm gonna do this. Yeah. But you've been doing well, right?
Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah,
that's dope, man.
Though, man. Like the thing is, like you gotta do marketing for yourself. You can't just be like, oh, if I make it, they'll come. That's true, man. But you have to make content. You have to make connections, networking. You have to make a lot of things, not just your product or just what your passion is. You know what I mean? Like if I'm an artist in a garage, how are people gonna see it? You know what I mean? You got to get out there in a gallery. You have to, show it on social media. I don't know, man. So like, it's just a lot of work. Period. You know what I mean? Like, and I was willing to put in the work. I knew it's like you see the light at the tunnel, but it's more like I figured out like one of the questions I asked on my podcast is, do you believe in destiny or do you believe in or fate? You believe you can control your own fate? And I just at that point was like, I can control my own fate. Like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but I see a future self that I want to meet, and I'm just like gonna run toward it. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna run toward it. I mean, I sacrificed a lot, but like, thank God, like my dream was to hear like, hey chef, what's for dinner tonight?
Right.
And I fucking hear it.
That's
dude.
dope.
You know what I mean?
And you make some like nice meals. It's not like you're just making fajitas.
Yeah, man. I swear, that's the thing. Like I outdo myself every night. I'm like, well, I've made beef Wellington for this family like 3 weeks, last month. Let me figure it out. What I'm gonna do differently. You know what I mean? So I made that last plate was a deconstructed beef Wellington, and I liked that plate a lot. And unfortunately, the family actually went out to dinner that night. I only served the 2 kids, and I'm like, here you go, guys.
What the?
They're like on the video, like, what? Oh, it's ready? Okay.
All right, cool, whatever.
Yeah, it's ready. All right, cool. So I'm like, bye, guys.
Right?
I gave it all there on the table, but
I did my best.
Yeah,
I did my best.
To the gods, like,
right? Well, that's cool. That like, and you were saying you get your reps in, you feel more confident over time.
Oh yeah, 100%,
and as you go, doing it. So talk about like the setup process. Like, let's say somebody contacts you. Do they say, hey, cook us something, or do they say, hey, can you do this? Or how does that?
In the beginning, it was.
How does that go?
Like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? Like, what the heck are you talking about, personal chef? But lately people are like, I just want to book you. You know what I mean? Like, what day are you have open? You know what I mean? Which is great. But at the same time, like, I'm trying to control that whole thing because it started with Clay. Like, I'm a personal chef. I have all my own tools and equipment. I'm gonna come in your house and I'll cook for you. This is my service cost. When we customize your menu, the grocery cost plus the service cost is the total cost. Mm-hmm. If you need plates or a wine service with that, that's the only add-ons that I can tell you that will add on to your bill. But that will be the total bill. And at that point, you know what I mean? It's more of creating the menu. Once we create the menu between me and you, like it could be 2 of my samples where I have a simple pasta chicken type of menu with appetizer and dessert, or I could be surf and turf where I make, pan-seared steak, ribeye, prime, and then I have like a stuffed lobster on the menu and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? Like once we create the menu, then you're like, okay, what date is it for? Okay, we'll create the date and then I'll send you an invoice. You pay the actual grocery cost. That's the down payment. And then service cost is paid after I, fulfill your dinner.
Right.
And hopefully you have a great experience. You know what I mean? And that's my aim is for you to have a good food experience inside your home.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's dope, man. Because I mean, I've seen TV and people like, and I follow sports athletes, and they talk about nutrition and having their own personal chefs.
Right.
but the time that I've seen that people go into the preparation and the quality and the ingredients,
Right.
you're not, I'm sure you're not just getting fucking,
No, in fact,
fucking.
the main client I have for Monday through Friday at nights, they get from Allen Brothers. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's basically like really high quality meat,
Yeah.
like lamb from Australia and things
Yeah.
like that. So it's a freezer full of meats, and I just gotta create a menu. You know
That's
what I mean?
dope.
It really is, man. I'm blessed. Like I swear to God, I walk into these houses and stuff like that, and it's up to me. I have carte blanche to just serve something for them. You know what I mean? And but I created it. You know what I mean? I'm very proud of that. I'm not like in awe of it anymore. I'm more of very feel responsibility toward it. You know what I'm saying? So like my menus are really great, and like you said, I really appreciate their high quality and gourmet. But I always try to outdo myself. I'm like, what's better? What could make it prettier? You know what I mean? Because I actually like when you put down a plate and they're like, "Wow, this is so pretty. I don't want to eat it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's cliche, but I really like that compliment.
No,
you
of
know what I mean?
course.
Like,
I think anybody when they get that little pat on the back, like this is dope. It's when people are like, "Hey, man,"
you can tell as a chef, you can tell when it's sincere and when it's not. You know what I mean?
It's just like "Hey, this looks amazing."
Yeah, and some people
you're like, "That's what I was aiming for."
Honestly, yeah, exactly.
I'm not just out here just slapping it on the
as a
table.
personal chef, I actually like at the end, and I had 2 weekends ago this dinner where everybody was like, "Man, that's insane! Like I've never had an experience like that. Like that's crazy. Like you know what I mean? Like cheers. Let's have a drink. You know what I mean? Like they're really like, because it's never had. I mean, in El Paso, like you go out to restaurants, you eat. Maybe you have family over, you have a family meal and stuff like this. Is different where a chef comes in and cooks for you and serves you, not just cooks for you and you come make a plate. It's like I serve you. I'll pick up your plate. You know what I mean? I'll bring you an extra napkin. I'll make sure you drop that fork and I'll get you another fork. It's like fine dining in your home. You know what I mean? So it's a different experience, and that's what I like the most. You know what I mean?
So let me tell you this. Now that you're talking about the experience, like when was the first time you went to a client's house that you did not know?
Why you gotta bring questions like
right?
Well, like what did he say? Say didn't know?
Like you like let's say like for example, somebody just heard of you and just hey, I've heard of you. Can you come to our house? And you did not know them at all.
Oh yeah, mostly. That's most of my clients.
So what was the first time? Because you're walking in somebody's house and you're like, what the fuck?
I don't know if I can rewind that part, but I can tell you like one experience I had is in San Eli. I got a couple of dinners I had done already, like a couple dinners, and like I was like, wow, these pictures are pretty good. Somebody called me out of the blue. Come to San Eli. I want you to cook for like 10 people. Do your personal chef thing. I saw this. Shout out David Hernandez over at Costco because he's the one who put the pictures out and connected me with this person. Basically, they give me an address and I drive up with all my equipment, and I'm like opening. Wait, this is a fucking restaurant. Like what the hell? So I open the door and it's a brand new restaurant, like brand new equipment, brand new stainless steel tables. And then Isela, her name is Isela, and she comes in and she's like, "Hi, Chef Clay, how you doing? This is the kitchen we're gonna use for our restaurant, Pistoleros del Adobo." I'm like, "Damn, okay." And she's like, "Yeah, you're gonna cook for us in this kitchen. You're gonna be the first one to use it." And I'm like,
"No, that's so crazy."
Yeah, and I just barely met her, just barely walked in this kitchen. I'm like, okay. And then I mean, it was brand new. Me and her husband had to try to like start the the starter and get the flame going on the oven and stuff like that. It was brand new. So like. Tell me like about brand new experiences. That was really like a really like icebreaker, crazy experience. But one of my best clients at that year.
Right.
You know I mean, that first year.
It's cool because you're like, oh shit, and then you went in and then you did your thing, right? Obviously, like
I could tell you. I mean, I'm really looking for that experience where I was like nervous, and I rock climb, and I know when I'm nervous. You know what I mean? My hands are sweat, and I never get nervous as being a personal chef. Honestly, like even if it's like Michael Jordan, like I just want to do my thing, and then when I meet you, I'll fucking start sweating. You know what I mean? It's more of like. I love cooking, man, and I can't. You talked about it, Rita, when you were playing you were talking about your computer, like with getting paid for the things that you love. Like, it's insane, dude. You know what I mean? So I want to show out. I don't want to be like, oh, this is just a thing I do on the side. You know what I mean? This is my passion. You know what I mean? Like, let me show you first, and then we could talk and figure it out. You know what I mean?
So, talking about that passion, you've been cooking for X amount of years, and then now you've been doing the personal chef thing for 3 years. Like, how do you keep that passion going for the love for cooking? Because I know sometimes, and I'm sure everybody could. You just kind of go through the motions, but with you, it just like you have that self pride.
Yeah, I think it comes with being a chef for one, like an artist. You know what I mean? Like I always wanted, like I told you, I want to make better plates, refine flavors. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm tasting something like, I mean, it's good, but like it could be better. What could I do differently? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But shout out like people who are honest. Like my there's a personal assistant that coordinates for a family, like a liaison between the family, and I just cook, and she pays me and stuff like that. But she told me like you need to step up your salad game. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Chef Clay, you need to step up your salad game. And I was like, I took it on the chin, honestly. Like I was, I mean, she said it funnily, like like real, like joking, but I took it on the chin. I was like, you know what? That's true. I need to step up my fucking salad game. So you know what I mean? That kind of stuff sparks me where I start researching. Like, let me figure out what salads I could pull out, not just greens and this. I want to build something different. You know what I mean? And caprese salad. You know, I want to knock their socks out with something different. You know, let's pickle some vegetables, fresh vegetables. You know what I mean? So yeah. I like things like that. You know what I mean? So to keep it, it comes from obviously outside entities. You know, within yourself, I think just writing new menus. I'm a type of personal chef. If I cook for your family, I'm not gonna cook the same 3 menus every month. You know what I mean? I probably go through 18 menus in. You know what I mean? Like I have 18 different menus with 4 different items on it. You know what I mean? That I could send you for a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does that make
for
sense?
a week.
For a week.
Damn.
Yeah. So
that's a lot of different meals.
I have 18 different menus that I could send you for 1 week at 4 meals. 4 meals on with starch, vegetable, and protein. Yeah,
that's dope, man.
And then there's various. Like it could be like one Italian, one Middle Eastern, and then a Asian meal or something like that. It could be
so you cook up like a little bit of everything.
Everything, yeah,
a little bit of everything.
I just don't do sushi, and the reason I say that is because it's like another art that I've really never done.
Yeah.
So I think
and if you wouldn't half-ass as if you were gonna do it anyways.
Like you know what I'm saying? I don't know the tools. I don't know the aesthetics of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to even try. You know what I mean? And in fact, I want to learn. Some people say, "Oh, I'm a sushi chef," and if I ever find one that has education, I would love to. Like,
it's cool that you're honest with yourself because a lot of people will just jump on the opportunity, like, okay, I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's just kind of like,
I will.
But like when you have that self pride in whatever you do, because when I'm having conversations with people, I make sure I do my homework on them. Like I'm taking the time to do this, and I want to do it right. So I have that self pride. I know what you mean. Like I don't do shit just to do shit. So every time like I stream or I make videos, I have podcasts, I'm doing it because I enjoy it. And like when I go back and I watch it or people tell me certain things, I'm like, all right, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? We're like, all right.
If you're not doing that, like, why are you doing it? You know, honestly, like I swear, like, I mean, Michael Jordan, the best person that I ever watched. I know everybody has their different opinions, but like he was trying to get better every day. I thought he could just walk on the court and do that every day, like nothing. But no, I mean, he was working every single day, making his teammates better and stuff like that behind the scenes where I never knew as a kid. Now I understand. You know what I mean? Now I understand.
Yeah. So having that self-pride and everything, man. So you have that personal chef thing, and, you know, you took that leap away from that full-time job.
Right.
And isn't it crazy? Like you were talking about, like, damn, I said I was going to do it, and people gave me or were saying shit, and now I'm doing it. And, like, it's like kind of like, wow. Like I set a goal, and I attained it.
Well, I'll tell you when I had to kind of feel that and really be honest with myself about that, because like you can be like, you know what I mean, like even that first year when Missy Sella was calling me probably every weekend almost, like she'd be like, hey, let's do this party, can you make a menu for me, and da-da-da. I felt really good, man, and that was great, but it was it had to be like, honestly, like say the question again so I can tell you the right moment, like
just having that moment, like, wow, I said I was gonna do this, and now I'm successfully doing this.
Yeah, like it's because I had to change my price. There was a point where I was like $50 an hour as a personal chef when I first started, right? And I was like double my salary at Costco. And I was like, okay. And then I felt like I needed to up, so I went to $60 an hour. And to me, that was like, holy shit, right? Well, I got influenced to go up to $75 an hour, and I was like, damn, okay, I made it, bro. That's just where I come from, though. I'm a humble person in general. Somebody told me that I should go to $100 an hour, and I'm like, who the fuck am I to be?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm nobody. And in that moment, I saw somebody look at me and say, Clay, you're not anybody.
Yeah.
You are somebody that has skills, that comes in and cooks and has an aesthetic, and really people trust your cooking. And shout out Caleb, because I mean, he's actually just I don't want to say random person. He's an acquaintance through somebody I know, and sitting at that table, I don't really see him anymore. But that I needed to hear, because I really felt at that moment, I was like, I did it, man. Like I could do 150 right now. I could do $200 right now. But it's a matter of controlling my value. It's my value that I earned. You know what I mean? Before, 3 years ago, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you, hey, I'm going to go to your house and cook, and it's $100 an hour. They'd be like,
what?
What?
Yeah, fuck
like,
no.
What? There's no credentials. You know what I'm saying? Now I've built my 5-star Google rating. I've built my Facebook and Instagram and things like that. The pictures speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, I'll actually cover costs like I do. Like I told you, you pay for the groceries, and then if you don't think the service is what I say it is, then honestly, like, you don't have to pay the rest of the invoice. It'll sit there in my
But
little
you can
box for the
say that
rest.
because you're confident that
I'm really confident,
yeah.
honestly. Like I love making menus custom to what you want, and then I produce it.
Mhm.
Like paella, I want to make sure it's like that little crust on the bottom. You know what I mean? Like every single detail, so that you can't be like, how do I not pay this guy? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Isn't it crazy having that knowing that your self-worth? It
right.
takes time because you're right.
Yeah,
Because a
and
lot of
then
people are like, what? Like you charge this much?
Mhm.
Like you shouldn't have to argue a price point when you're providing a service. Like,
Right.
hey, this is what I charge, and if you're not, then I'm not gonna bargain with you. I don't need your money. I
Different-
know my self-worth.
Right. Different
But there's different.
different industries
Yeah.
are like that, and I can understand. But I think as an artist, though, you have to just set your price, and then when the customer comes, it's not a haggle.
Nope.
No, it's not a haggle. It's more like, this is what I charge for my art. You know what I mean? And then you just produce it. If there's later like controversy, you know what I mean? Wonder, look inward first, but like, obviously, like, I'm confident in my product. I
Yeah.
do the best from front to back. And if you're telling me honest opinion, I could change. Sure, absolutely. I'm willing to take that criticism, but I really try my best every single dinner. You know what I mean? And that's the fun part, is the dinners. Personal chefing is rewarding, and that's what I built the business on. But doing those 4-course dinners is the funnest thing ever. Dude.
That's dope,
It
man.
really is fun. Yeah, it's fun.
And the way you're saying it,
Yeah.
I can see that you do enjoy it.
Yeah, I
you
do,
know,
I really
because
do.
a lot of people, like, when they think of cooking, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, fucking over there slaving and
Uh-huh.
fucking doing all this. You're like, I'm doing this willingly, and I'm
Yeah.
enjoying making this crazy ass
Uh-huh.
food, and people telling me
Yeah.
like, this is fucking dope. That's
Dude,
badass,
yeah.
man.
And then I've built the business to where I'm in your. They're like, you know what? Is it okay if we're in the kitchen watching you? I'm like, that's what I am. Like, come and ask questions. Like, elbow me. I'm the opposite of Gordon Ramsay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna yell at nobody. I'm actually gonna, take a step aside so you
Yeah.
can see what I'm doing. I'll teach you. In fact, take my number down if you want to call me and you're cooking something you want me to help you. I'll do that. No problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be your personal chef.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when you talk about me, I'm your personal chef.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So, you're talking about the passion and I could see your eyes light up. You're like, dude, this is dope. So what is like your favorite meal to prepare? Like
I
what's
feel like
your
I've been
favorite
saying
meal?
a lot. Like, it's the beef Wellington. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a
I don't
layered.
even so
Yeah.
tell me what the you've said it like
Yeah.
4 times
I
and
feel
I'm
like
like
I talk about it a lot. You know what I mean?
if I had them all, yeah, beef Wellington. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, I hope it's like one of those like 5-star type menus. It's a London dish that's served like in Christmas time. What it is like a pan-seared filet mignon, and you can use the Chateaubriand, which is the basic best part of the filet mignon piece beef, and then you sear that all around, and then you set that to the side. You actually make a mushroom dixelle, which is like a lot of flavor, just the moisture cooked out of the mushrooms, and then you lay prosciutto, the mushrooms, and then you put the filet, roll that up, and then you lay out some puff pastry dough, which is like croissant dough, and then you roll that up, the whole thing. So it's layered. It's got
What?
it's got the croissant dough, the prosciutto, mushrooms, and the filet mignon cooked mid-rare. You bake it, and then it's got that hard crust, like a croissant, basically.
What the
Yeah.
fuck? Dude, as you were talking, I was like, my
Yeah.
mouth is all watery. I was like, holy shit. Because I like
Yeah.
filet mignon already just
Yeah.
by itself.
Right,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's crazy. I didn't even know what that is. Now I have to look online after we're
Check it
done
out.
talking
Yeah,
just
definitely.
to see what it is,
definitely, definitely. And then there's different ways to do it. Like if you make it traditional, you can put like I think walnuts into the mushroom dixelle to give it that flavor. It has a more fragrant smell to it. And then at the end, I either put a red wine reduction on top of it, or like a demi glaze, like a brown demi glaze or something like that. But it's a really great dish. I made that the first time out of the gates. I wanted to shoot high, and it's a really really nice dish when you have it. It's I mean you can talk about it like I've had beef Wellington.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even like fucking have that in my life, man.
good. You should try it,
Yeah.
man. If you're in Vegas, go to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. Try it. But or I could cook for you guys one day.
We'll be talking about that soon for sure, man. My wife likes all types of food, man.
Yeah.
We be watching cooking shows all the time.
Yeah.
So that's like your favorite dish. So now that you got all this going on and you feel confident and you're moving, forward in your business and stuff, like, and you talk about the service, like in your personal opinion, like what's the perfect service where like for like a chef, like talk about
customer service or
like a service as a chef.
Oh,
like
okay.
what should you expect from a personal chef when they come to your house?
Oh, for one, like walking, like I try to be like concise. So I walk in the door with like maybe 3 trips. Like I have equipment, and then I have my tools, my backpack with my knives, and then some dishes, like towels and a sanitation bucket. So I'm bringing the kitchen to your house. You know what I'm saying? Without using yours. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part where it becomes of value. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to open your cabinet door. You know what I mean? I don't have to use your tools. I might have to use your utensils, but it's more of I come in, I have everything ready. I have the proteins. I use your tabletops to cut, prepare, cook, and then serve, right? And so you're sitting down. As soon as you sit down with your drinks, I can serve that first course. And then if it's a wine service, I make sure to serve the wine first, serve the plate, pick up the plate, serve the next wine. You know what I mean? Like make sure it's a rotation. During the steak course, I'll give them a knife, like a steak knife out of a box. You know what I mean? Just a certain experience that you would get at a steakhouse. You know what I mean? And I'll pick up their plates, and then at the end, pick up the actual placemat. Make sure that it's just a clean service so that you can talk to your guests. So when I leave, it's like you're at a restaurant. You know what I mean?
You brought everything, you take everything.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, and here's the invoice. You know, not invoices in your email. You pay me whenever, and I'm out.
Nice.
Peace out.
That's cool.
That's what I want to do, is add value and time.
Yeah.
And then and you're at your home, so indulge whatever you need to have a great time.
Right.
Like that.
That's cool that you say that, because you're right. You're like, I like how you said that. Look, I bring all my stuff. The only thing we'll need is like maybe your plates and forks and your top. I'm bringing all the tools.
Yeah.
I'm bringing all the groceries. I do everything. I clean it and then I leave.
Right.
So it's like you eating at a restaurant but at home.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And shit like that. That's cool, man. And that was like the thing I was more interested about is the process and things like that. Obviously your skill and stuff like that, but when you talk about somebody coming to your house, and you're like, I'm not just cooking and leaving. You know what I mean? I'm providing XYZ
I think
and the experience. I'm glad you say it's an experience.
Yeah. And I think that's what got me the rapport, and people call me back is like, yeah, I'm a chef with the chef code. Like, oh, okay. But that chef is actually serving, picking up plates, doing dishes, cleaning the kitchen, picking up his equipment and taking off. You know what I mean? So there's a whole like respect, I think, because like my guests respect me. I'm like, why do you respect me like I respect you? It should be a different, right? No, it's like we're on the same level, and I like bless that in that way, because it's like not friends, but it's like a business relationship that is like, oh, you're an asset. No, please, you know what I mean? Like Mr. Christmas, shout out Anthony Christmas. I'm not sure if you know him, but he's like a philanthropist here in El Paso, and that one dinner we did in 2021 was another spur of like social media buzz. You know what I mean? And he's always like, no, that's my personal chef since 2021. It's like, that makes a difference. You know what I mean? Like I did something right in his eyes. You know what I mean? So I'm always giving him respect the same way. You know what I mean? It's different. It's I like the business world. I like the entrepreneurship. I like the respect and passion. Camaraderie and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like when I start talking to people when it comes to content creation, for example, a lot of people can't relate to it because they're in their own lane. But we can agree on like passion. Oh yeah. The process, the respect, the assets. Having the right type of people in your circle, in your inner circle. Because you start talking to people like that, we might not be best of friends. Right. But it makes sense. Like when now if it comes to anything, when it comes to cooking or personal chef world, I could be like, I know a guy that I personally have sat and talked to, and he's got a great rapport. Then I can say, hey, check this guy out, because I know him. Dude, and that's all it is.
For me, and like that's what I respect the most in business, though. Like for somebody to say, like, we've met in business, and then you can be like, yeah, Chef Clay, you can give him a call. Yep. And that makes a big difference, man. It really does. Like, you got to come through for that. Like if you fall off on that one, you're really setting a big chain of bad events for yourself.
It's like I called that guy, and he was shitty, and then that fucking just
you lose 2-1 from that. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, take that on really, really seriously, because you might gain that one, and then when he hears that how good it was, he's like, man, I miss Chef Clay. Let me get him on again. You know what I mean? Like, it's but also business wise. You know what I mean? Because I bought a car through him, so I've seen how he works. And then he's seen how I work, you know what I mean? So we're having like that, like I told you, like
it's like that respect in different. Even we're in different fields, right? And you see what they do, and you respect, and vice versa. Whatever I do, you respect, even though you have no idea what the fuck I do or the fuck you do.
Dude, like when I was watching you, I was like, man, I really thought honestly, like you were just playing video games and talking to people that were in video games. I'm like, well, that's a different world. I remember being in that world, and I'm like, I don't know if I could do that, you know what I mean? But then you like even talk to the girl with your tattoo.
Yeah.
That was a great conversation, man. Yeah. Like I was digging that, and she had a lot of good points that I took in. And then you had your next guest from Atlanta and stuff like that. I was like, this guy's making a good transition. I like how people are seeing what podcast is about, right? And it's not just one lane. Like you can just open up. And I'm doing the same thing now. I'm like, well, I mean, barbers and chefs is cool, but let's see what else is out
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean? Like, let's get other entrepreneurs
Yeah.
on here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
because it's grind too hard. You know what I
Right,
mean?
exactly.
It's just like you can grind in any aspect in life.
right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be the best fucking
Yeah.
X, Y, Z or
Yeah.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
Hey, man, we sit down, have conversations, and talk
Yeah.
about journeys
I mean,
and stories and shit like
thank
that.
God, Ricky's gonna sit down with us
Yeah.
next Tuesday, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna,
See,
shout
that's
out Ricky
dope.
Maynes,
Yeah,
man, over there
dude.
at the Savage Academy.
Yeah, man.
Man,
And see that.
for him
And
to do that, but he let us even in his gym. We're gonna shoot it in his gym. The podcast.
dude, that's dope.
Yeah,
See,
man.
and that's the thing too. And you know, we were just kind of talking about it before getting on. And
Yeah.
it's just like you met him, you started just talking to him, and just
Yeah.
fucking just. That's how it is with a lot of the time, and you can see that level of respect because sometimes, and I'm sure you know, we talked about how old we were earlier. Just like you can feel that from somebody if they're trying to get something out of you, or if it's like a genuine
frequency. It's a frequency of like, oh, you're on that path. Me too, man. Like, like maybe we can, you know, kind of, because we are actually we're gonna do some meal preps, man, together.
See, that's what I'm saying. Just things like that,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
Just things like that.
But like, it's a frequency. I'm telling you, like, cause like I meditate and like it's like, it wasn't like, well, what are you into, and like, what's your background? It was just like, we just knew, like, you know what I mean? We're both on, and I needed him in that moment. Like I told you, like, I was inspired by him. Let me try kickboxing. You know, maybe he can help me out. I've been going 5 days a week, man.
Right?
That really got me mentally and physically where I needed to be, where I was, you know, sitting on a pile of money and like doing nothing and making myself depressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's great, man. It was a great, and I knew it was like a great path. Like as I made that transition, I never ever thought I would go to the gym 5 days a week.
Right.
Never, ever, 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 bro. ever.
Hey, but it feels good. Like I just started training gi. So I was like we were talking a little bit before. I did 2 years of no gi. Shout out to 10th Planet and Crystal Ball, on Mason shit. But and then I came back and I started training at Grind. Shout out to Grind. And we started doing gi, and I was never a gi guy, but just going in there and getting a good workout and coming home, I'm like, I feel good.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like that's like that mind, body, and just like fuck, man. Like my mind is right.
Yeah.
My body is right. Then I can keep doing what I want to do in my life, and keep and having your your health and your mind and all that, dude. That propels you forward.
It's true, man. It's true because like I
forward.
read books, I listen to podcasts, like I try to meditate, I could do all these things, right? But I still fell off, right? And I'm like, what else can I do, right? So I got in this kickboxing class, and Ricky is who he is, right? But like we just jammed, and I was like, man, it really resonated when I was doing those planks, and I heard, you don't, your body doesn't control you, you control your body, right? And I was like, yeah, exactly. So I mean, I was still in pain, but I was like, no, I'm gonna keep going. You know what I mean? I was like, you know what I mean, grinding it out. Dude, yo, that resonated in my brain. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, man, I don't know where. He's trying to remember where exactly. It was a monk that talked on like a TED Talk, but he was saying that like it's not about like your mind or your body. It's about like your soul controlling your body and your mind. Damn, man, there's levels to this, dude.
Deep.
Yeah, there's levels to this, man. And I just went home that day and I just kept thinking, bro. Not in a depressed. I wasn't like going like I was going here, like I was going way up, and I was like investigating, watching the TED Talks. He told me to watch Canelo doing his bag work. That's another one, man. You ever seen Canelo do bag work? He
fucking hits hard.
But he doesn't. He just like.
Oh,
dude, that'll give you fucking tingles, man. Bro.
But that's cool that like just having those small conversations with the right type of people can lead to a friendship or lead to different types of things. But like you'll meet people who, how you saying, like the frequency.
But your mind too, like you're going to skew, and it's like, oh, it's like, I mean, I don't know if it's like what it is aura like wise. You're just like, okay, there's other people out there. Okay, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, this little grinds his face out too. Like,
yeah.
Okay. You know
yeah,
I mean?
right.
Like,
When it goes back to what we were saying, you respect somebody in a different field that they're grinding in a different way than you are, but you could see that. And I say that all the time with people with content creation. I was like, I might not be in everybody's stream. I might not be up on your shit all the time, but I see people and I respect them, and they feel the love from afar, and vice versa.
Exactly.
I don't need people to be telling me how great I am every day. You know what I mean? I know how great I am, what I'm doing, but when you get that from far away, hey Clay, I've been seeing you, dogs. Hey, when you get that from people, that fucking builds you. It builds you up, man. Sure. So, like, for example, when I went to Atlanta and I went to that content creation meetup, you know, you get in. I'm in a fucking conference thing with over 100 people who are all pursuing this in different ways. Nice. When I went, I just like fucking grabbing energy from everybody, bro. We have small conversations with people, and it fulfills you, dude. It's so crazy.
I'm in awe of you, or I'm jealous of you in a way, because like I went to an entrepreneur event recently called The Moment, and I couldn't engage, bro. I don't know what it is, but I'm confident in myself. We talk about value and stuff like that, but I'm just not that type to engage with people. I get like a little bit intimidated, maybe by the unknowing, like how successful somebody is. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I was in the room of millionaires, right? So I was like, oh well, I learned something. Let me go home. You know what I mean? And I'm like going home, like, damn, I should have talked. I mean, I had a couple conversations. I don't know why I didn't. So I'm saying, like, what kind of advice could you give me to next time if I was in a room like that?
Dude, like, well, the frequency, because like you can tell when somebody is like wants you around or wants to have a conversation with you. Because there is some people that I'm like, I get in conversations and maybe it's not my vibe, and then I'll go off, or people come talk to me and I'll shoot the shit. It just having that that confidence of you can hold the conversation without having to know anything. A lot of the time, that the right type of people you talk to, they're not trying to see what you know, or like they're trying to talk to you. It depends. You can feel that. If I feel like they're trying to get something out of me, or they're trying to put me down,
at a networking,
I just walk out. I just like I have no reason to talk to you. If I'm not getting anything from you, you're not getting anything from him, there's nothing there, we can respectfully walk away, and it's okay. Like the fact is that you'll have a million conversations, and one or two will be worth it.
Yeah. Like, let me tell you the situation. Like, for me, like, I go where there's not I go sit where there's like a bunch of spaces, right? That's just who I am. So I sit, right? But then, of course, like at an entrepreneur event like that, they're like, hey, stand up, get to know somebody next to you, right? So I stand up and I like reach my hand to go meet somebody, and this like woman, like it was like almost like I was gonna say hi to her and him, and I said hi to him only. She felt, I guess, a certain way and kind of never came back.
Right. You should have been.
And then for me, right, I know, but in that moment, I'm more stuck. Like, I want to get to know this person and say the right thing. You know what I mean? So I get stuck in that. You know what I mean? Where I'm trying to, I guess, portray. I guess I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to portray. I wish I was more loose and talking like this. You know what I mean? But I'm not, and I'm like. And then I just walk out, you know what I mean? And I don't know why I'm like that.
I think a lot of the time, and with for me, like me growing up, I was always like the funny guy. I could always
I was a class clown.
Yeah, and I was always friendly. Yeah, and I had no problem just striking conversation with people. And then I was talking about how I used to travel. When I started traveling, I got out of that shell. I was like, this guy's at the bar by himself. Hey, what's up, bro? You're drinking this? Yeah. You're in town for work? Yeah, me too. Oh, cool, man. What are you doing? Oh, just doing this. All right, cool.
That's a certain vulnerability.
Yeah, it just like
there's a certain like vulnerability to you when you're taking that conversation. Because it could be like, man, I'm just
who the fuck are you? Like, what are you talking, right?
I'm just having a drink, man.
Leave me alone. Yeah. So yeah, you just having yourself put yourself in that position to maybe have a conversation with somebody, and you said it. There's an aura around certain people that are welcoming.
Right.
So like a lot of the time, the people that I have conversations with, even at the store or whatever, my wife says this thing. It's called the avocado effect. So let me tell you.
All right.
It's called the avocado effect. So when you go to Subway, avocados extra, right?
Yeah.
You go to Chipotle, avocados extra, right? Everywhere I go, I get something free. So my wife calls it the avocado effect. She's like, they never charge you full price for everything. You always get free things. Why? And I was just showing up to somebody. Hey, how you doing? Everything good? Yeah, everything's cool, man. Just strike this conversation. I come back next time. I got you, dog. Just striking conversation with people, and
That's true. That's absolutely true. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, I've gotten better just having a conversation with people, even if it's just small conversation. How are you doing? What's up, bro? I probably will never see them again. Yeah. But I'm such a friendly guy. I'm so welcoming. So I'm fortunate when people want to talk to me, and I'm fortunate to have good friends and good people because I'm willing just to talk. It might not lead to anything. I'm just kind of fucking bullshit. What's up, man? Nice. Everything good? Cool, man.
That's nice, man. Because this whole entrepreneur thing, I mean, it actually started 2020, and I actually like was influenced by Gary Vee. You watch Gary Vee?
Oh.
So he talks about,
I love it because he fucking cusses all the time.
Yeah, I like, exactly, right?
He's like, fuck that.
Not holding back either.
Yeah, dude, like that.
So he's like, but he actually was like way high energy like that, and I was like, dude, that's not my thing. You know what I mean? Like, ooh. But then I kept listening to his content. He's like, no, kindness is the answer for everything. And I'm like, what? Everything? No way. And I'm like trying to investigate, and he's like, and then I heard him again. He's like, no, kindness in the face of disrespect is the strongest thing you can do when people think it's the weakest. And when I truly understood that, oh man, I started changing my ways. Bro. Right. You know what I mean? Like trying to go down that way. But I still can't get over this hurdle of like talking to people. You know what I mean? I can be like, if you start a conversation, we're kind, and I can be that. But it's like I'm still like having this shell a little bit, and
Well, I
a little
mean,
bit, you know, I mean,
a lot of the time you don't have to talk to everybody
Right.
at the same time too, because there will be certain times where you just say what's up to somebody, and I'm not gonna just talk to everybody. If I feel there's a welcoming or a position to say something, then
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
If not, then it's all good. But doing those reps of getting to know people, because I'm not saying I know how to read people, but I feel like if I feel like there can be a conversation while we're standing in line, and I turn around, dude, this is crazy. We're waiting. Yeah, bro, we've been here for an hour or two. That's all it is.
I'll be honest with you, since I'm like I'm that person actually, like years ago before I was that person that was like kind of like I don't want to talk to nobody. I would put that vibe out, like
Leave
I
me
don't
alone.
wanna please leave me alone. Like I don't want to talk to nobody. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're that guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like I really didn't want to talk to nobody. So I mean, that's just who I was though. Like, but now I'm like breaking out of the shell and realizing that I'm a kind person. I want to conversate. I have stuff to say. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just like I'm still like trying to reprogram certain things that are, you know, always been ingrained in me. You know?
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this. You know, and then before we start wrapping this up, the fact that you started doing this podcast more.
Yeah.
Do you catch yourself being better communication and better way of expressing yourself because of doing podcasting?
I'm not quite sure how that, like, if I can answer that right, but I do say, you know, I talked about this on the podcast. We said this, and then you know what? This is my experience. And, you know, it's easier to, I don't know. It's almost like when you say, oh, I read this book that, you know, or it's like a validation in a way. I'm like, if you want to read, go back to my episode in number 3. We talked about this, and they're like, oh, you have a podcast? Wow. And it's a little bit like a validation. So when I speak, I'm really like, man, this is like they're listening. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so I like to talk. I've always liked to talk, but I just feel not validated, but like I'm not the type of person that's just gonna give random advice because today. Like I've been through it, like I've gone through it, and like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it really.
It's funny because like when I started watching more podcasts and things like that, and I started watching myself and conversations, I started noticing little tics I do or things like that.
Yeah.
And with time, my vocabulary's gotten better.
Yeah.
My communication with people, my perspective on life, because of talking to different people and their journeys. So like I always tell,
big time. That's true. That's a good point.
I tell people all the time, I feel lucky that I'm fortunate enough that people are willing to give their time to come talk to my fucking little ass.
For sure.
And I learned so much from you or from other people by just sitting and talking and having conversation. And with time, I started like, you know what? I never had like a mission statement when I started doing these podcasts, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing these podcasts. And if I can share a light on something that probably somebody had no idea about or give some guidance or learn something, that's my goal. Yeah. So through that, in return, I get to learn from fucking people. Yeah. When do I ever get to sit down and talk to a personal chef who's actually doing it for a living and making a living? Fucking never. You know what I mean? But now I had the opportunity to because of different lanes and people connected.
And same with me, man. My favorite restaurant, both the chef and the GM came on the podcast. You know what I mean? Like, when the fuck would I ever have a chance to speak to both of them and realize their story? As much as I love their food and their process of, you know, their front of the house, but their stories are so amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, even a tattoo artist we had on, like the story that your tattoo artist, he talked about like him doing 8-hour tattoos, 5-hour tattoos, then going home, eating dinner with his family, and then drawing for the rest of his night. Like, I'm like, yo, I do a lot of work, but not as much as him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could put in more. God damn it. You know what I mean? So I went that night and started saying, you know what? At night, instead of going to sleep, let me write a recipe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let me just stay ahead a little bit, do something. You know what I mean? Because damn, I know Matt's over there fucking drawing away right now. You know what I mean? Like, shit.
But that's through these conversations you get that, and you have to have that conversation with the right type of people.
Oh, I mean,
you know what I mean? Because somebody can get like, I don't want bullshit. I don't need you to feed me bullshit. I don't like, a lot of people feel like, hey, let me be on your podcast so I can get a name or you can get. My goal for when it comes to conversations like this, if it makes sense to have a conversation, great. Because I've had a lot of people, hey, reach out to this person, reach out to that person. Like, I don't know them. Like, why am I'm just gonna, hey, you want to be on my podcast? It doesn't make no sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough. I just had a conversation with a chef, and I want to put him on the show, but we're on this like entrepreneur. Like, you have your own business. What have you been through? Like, talk about the struggles. And he's just been, I mean, a chef his whole life. Like, he's done the gamut, but I'm trying to figure out an angle. You know what I mean? Like, you like. Maybe it's like, how many people did you actually train and they're now big time chefs or whatever the case may be. And we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Refining, you know what I mean? How to.
And then that's how it goes because of this podcasting. And that opens up different doors because of the podcasting. And I think a lot of people will reach out to me because of that. They're like, hey, cool, you had this person, you had that person. I'm like, bro, I'm just fortunate that I had them coming on. Like, one of the first ones I did here was with one of my hockey buddies. I've known him for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And he plays for Team Mexico on an international level. So he goes to Italy to play roller hockey.
Nice. That's badass.
That's badass.
Yeah,
and he talked about that experience and shit like that. I'm like, I'm not envious. I'm just, it's dope that my boy got the opportunity to do that. And he's, you know, we're sitting here chopping it up. And people had no idea, just him walking around like, yeah, this fool plays high-level hockey across the world and comes back home and hangs out with his family like nothing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And
that's, and we build, you know, you have those conversations and like, you know, the journey and the struggle. And
but like 5 years ago, if I told you, hey man, you're gonna set up a little podcast area in your garage and you're gonna be interviewing people, and
I would fucking no way,
you'd
bro.
be like, what? You're crazy.
No
My wife
way.
would never let that happen.
Dude, just doing like playing video games on the internet.
Right.
Like that people,
that's true, yeah.
Like I was always amazed that people would watch people. I was like, who cares about me? Like, why would anybody watch me? But after doing it about a year and a half, when I feel comfortable and confident of knowing who I was and what I was putting out there, people were like, dude, you were playing Warzone and you crashed a helicopter. That was fucking hilarious. I was like, good. That's exactly what I wanted to do.
Feedback, right?
You know, it's just like I'm having fun and people see that, and then you start building a community and you know, making relationships and you know, things like that, man. So
for sure.
But before letting you go, man, if anybody's out there that's in the position like they've been cooking and then want to go into being a personal chef or having a business, like what are some of the tips that, not that you would change anything or regret anything you went, and like what are some things like do's and don'ts that you would tell somebody who might want to like leave the kitchen to start their own business as a personal chef?
Like the jump is hard, right? It's so like if you're a chef and you're like a badass chef, you can do grill, fry, saute, you can expo like nobody's business, you can run the line. Like you got it. You have recipes in your pocket, you are confident. But the thing is you need a full spectrum of front of the house. You need to know how to serve, you need to know how to make drinks, bartending, you need to know like aesthetics, like where to serve, you know, pick up serve on the right, pick up on the left. You know, how the setup of the table. You know what I mean? There's so many things that you need to do to learn before you're like, oh, I can cook your face off. I mean, your socks off or whatever. So I would say make sure that you know the 360 of a restaurant. And if you're confident in doing all aspects of a restaurant, buy your own equipment, whether it be just a knife bag and some pans, and say, I'm going to cook for you. Those pictures that you take of cooking for your mom or cooking for your aunt is going to spur something. So just try it and go out there and just put it out there. You don't need to spend many hours doing it. You just one time, one dinner, see what feedback you get, see how much you like it. You know what I mean? And then go from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I tell people when they tell me like, hey, I want to start a podcast, I'm like, all right, go for it. They're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, dude,
jump in.
But I was like, knowing it, you got to think about this. You got to think about that. You got to think about this. So I always tell people like, it's not, and I'm not trying to deter people. I'm just being honest. Like if you want to start getting into this space or doing something like that, I'm going to give you the things that you should. If you're not going to do all that, you're going to probably not be successful.
But also, like, I would say jump in that you're going to have hard knocks. But, like, I guess I would be also extending a hand. Like, I'll help you. You know what I mean? If you want to be a personal chef, either you can work for me and learn, or, you know what I mean? Like, from a distance, let me know what you're going through, man. I'll help you. You know what I'm saying? But it's not going to be easy. You know what I mean? But I would say just go out there and do it. You know what I mean? Figure it out. Like, when you cook with just a pan and your knife bag, you're like, I wish I had a cutting board.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I wish I had, you know, croutons. I'm gonna bring bread next time, every time I come, so I'm ready for whatever happens, you know. Or toreados, you know what I mean? I always have jalapenos and bread with me, by the way. So like, do you have bread? Yeah, I got bread. I got you. Or do you have tortillas? I'm ready. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Not tortillas, but I have bread.
Yeah.
Throw a little baguette here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's cool, man. I mean, for anybody who's out there, and I appreciate you taking the time to come over here and talk about your life, and I look forward to see what you got going on and all your videos on Instagram and shit like that. And of course, the podcast that you guys got going on, that is
check that out.
That is dope
Grind
too,
Too
man.
Hard on YouTube, Spotify.
Yeah, man, plug yourself real quick. Let everybody know what's up. Let everybody know your handle on Instagram and all the shit you got going on, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, thank you first of all. I mean, it just I'm in awe of anybody inviting me to their home, especially to do something like this. So thank you very much. What I do is I have a podcast called Grind Too Hard. It's Grind 2, the number 2, and then Hard. It's on YouTube, Spotify, and a couple other platforms. But it's all about entrepreneurship and motivation. Just check it out. If you have anything, give us some feedback. We're looking for more subscribers on YouTube. But my business is Keeping It P.C. That's personal chef service. I do serve El Paso, Las Cruces. I can travel if you need. But I'm here to bring gourmet food to your home, and you don't have to leave nowhere. I have all my own tools and equipment, so check it out. Other than that, I'm gonna start a meal prep business.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. So me and Ricky Menez, we're gonna start up some here probably in the next 2 weeks. We'll get something.
Let's
going.
go.
Yeah,
That's
I
dope,
know.
man.
That's the next endeavor. So we're gonna hit that hard. And then my podcast co-host Vic, he's doing that. Well, we're doing it. It's a drip fest, a drip event. We're gonna do again every month. So
cool, man.
Look out for that. So I
That's
appreciate
dope,
you, man.
man.
Thanks.
Fuck yeah, man. And everything, guys, you'll see it down in the description, man. Like I said, man, thank you so much for your time, man.
Absolutely, man.
And
Thank
getting
you.
to know you, man. And maybe we'll be hiring you for some event sometime in the near
let me
future.
know, man. Let me know. We're gonna have you.
Man.
We'll probably have you on our podcast, man.
Hey, man. If it makes sense,
Jimmy
great,
Duke's
man.
the podcaster, bro.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
I don't know about that. Some little assholes. Just I'll show up.
Ins and outs of podcasting and what? How do you start it, bro? You know what I mean? We're gonna hear
just
your
do
story.
it.
I'm telling you, whatever it is, bro. It's the Nike slogan, but do it. Man.
Yeah.
Just jump in. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you, man. Fuck yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure for sure, man.
Y'all make sure you guys check us out. You guys already know. iTunes, Spotify, all the fucking platforms, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. The description for Chef Clay will be there, man. But until next time, peace out, homies. Y'all take care.
Stay up, y'all. Stay motivated.